We finally got some more info on Bleach Rebirth of Souls, so let's talk about some of the things that I'm both excited for and a little bit concerned about. Keep in mind that we still have a pretty long way to go before we get a solid release date and updates on all the modes, features, and characters. But just looking at the most recent gameplay trailers, they gave us a good rundown of what fights are going to be looking like when it finally comes out. First off, we got to see a full battle between Ichigo and Byakuya that breaks down all the basics. Taking down your opponent's Reishi gauge puts them in a state where you can use a Kikon move and lower their Kanpaku. Now, as somebody who hasn't watched Bleach in a little bit, all of that sounded weird as hell when I first saw it. But basically your goal is to knock down your opponent's health and take out as many of these bars as you possibly can. And I'm not sure if there's only one of those Kikon moves per character depending on if they're awakened or not, or if there's multiple that you can choose from for different levels of damage. But based on what I'm seeing from the official website, it looks like some characters might be able to one-shot someone's entire Kanpaku. And I don't know if that means that they could do that right away, or if they have to be in an awakened form to make that happen. But all I can see in my head is Kenpachi being able to take out all 9 as soon as he gets his Bankai. But it does look like you need to wait until this fighting spirit gauge gets filled up before you can activate your awakening. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised to see matches where somebody gets their ass beat down to the last bar and makes a major comeback at the last minute. That's something that I would pay to see if this game ever makes it to a place like Evo. Outside of the spiritual gauge where you build energy for special attacks, there's also a reverse gauge that can make your offense or defense even stronger. And my guess is that it's going to be something similar to the drive mechanic in Street Fighter 6. So it could open up more possibilities during a fight if you want to be more aggressive or defensive. I'm just glad they're adding in some extra mechanics that will make fights a lot more interesting, because anime fighters don't really have a high place in the hardcore fighting community, but putting more focus on options and strategies is what matters the most. Then we move into the character trailers for Ichigo, Rukia, and Uryu, and they start to break down how each one of them plays. There's gonna be a lot more of these to look forward to, but I love that they went over specific moves and labeled their playstyle at the end. So obviously Ichigo is going to be a more well-rounded character, while Uryu is going to be focused on long-range battles. And for me, this game already looks like it'll be fun and give the fans exactly what they've been wanting from a Bleach game for a long time. Well, at least for most of the fans, but I'll touch on that in a second. All I want to see now is just how far this game is going to go with the characters and the plot. If it ends up having some kind of story mode or mission mode, it'll probably start from the very beginning, but will it make it to where we are in the anime now? More than likely we'll see characters from those arcs even if they end up being in a future season pass. I just hope they don't skip out on making this roster as large as possible at launch and giving us a ton to mess around with. Obviously nowhere close to Sparking Zero's numbers, but I'm thinking at least 30 characters on launch. Because if a Bleach game from 17 years ago can pull off 30 characters, then that's at least something that we can expect here. But recently I've been seeing some people concerned about Rebirth of Souls for 2 different reasons. The first is the one that always gets brought up about how this is just another anime arena fighter. Now the trailers try to make the combat seem a bit more tight, but you can see how much extra movement and space there is, which is probably going to turn off a lot of the hardcore crowd. I mean, personally, I'm fine with it just because I'm here to have fun. But I do think it's nice to at least get a read on what the FGC thinks about these kind of games, because they're the ones who are going to play it for years to come. Even though 80% of them might say that this should have just been Bleach fighters instead. Now the second reason I've seen about people being concerned actually connects to a totally different game that came out this year. I've seen some discussions that talk about the Kanpaku gauge and how this sounds similar to what Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash did. Now obviously it doesn't look the same at all, because in Curse Clash you could only do damage with special techniques, and that was something a lot of people felt was unbalanced. Because for some characters you can land full combos on them and do absolutely no damage, and other characters will do so much damage it's just not even funny. But with Rebirth of Souls, I just don't see that being the case, because you need to use regular and special attacks to get that health bar down no matter what. But once your opponent is down and open, that's where things can get a little crazy. So it is taking combat in a different sort of direction for sure, but not the same way that Curse Clash was doing it. And again, maybe that's going to make some characters here really powerful, but we'll have to see how that all plays out closer to release. I just think it's great seeing Bleach getting the love and respect it deserves after years of getting damn near nothing. For a series that's part of the original Big Three, it's the one that's gotten the least amount of support for both the anime and the video games. But between Thousand Year Blood War and now Rebirth of Souls, Bleach fans are about to be eating good for at least the next few years. Let me know what characters or modes you want to see added in Bleach Rebirth of Souls. Subscribe for more videos just like this one, and I'll see you all in the next video.